What's up, guys? It's your boy Louis Villain 23, aka J130 Ethan Inc. Gaming Crew, here today to bring you guys the Lawbreakers beta review for the PC. Before we get into the review, I want to take a quick second to explain how we're going to be breaking this down. So in this review, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of the game, what we want to see in the finished product upon release, the possible competitive potential, and last but not least, the overall lasting playability of the game. So without further ado, let's get into the review. So Lawbreakers is a role-based FPS from the developer's Boss Key that focuses on fast-paced, zero-gravity combat. It has elements of games like Overwatch, the newer Call of Duties as far as the multiplayer with the more futuristic touch. It also has the classic arena shooter feel of a Quake or an Unreal Tournament. Lawbreakers has 9 unique roles to play as, being the Assassin, Battle Medic, Enforcer, the Gunslinger, the Harrier, the Juggernaut, the Titan, the Vanguard, and the Wraith. Even though this is a role-based shooter, all the characters are self-sustained enough as individuals to feel as if they can hold their own in a fight, and you feel as if you won't lose as a team simply because you're missing one person from your roster. I feel like no matter what game you're coming from or what role you prefer to play, there's going to be a character in this game where you can feel comfortable and find one that you can have fun playing and really get behind. Now that we've got a quick breakdown of what Lawbreakers is bringing to the table, let's go ahead and get to the pros. So as I was saying before, one of the biggest pros of the game are the different roles. It provides a unique FPS experience to where you don't have to be conformed to really fit into one specific space. They actually encourage you to go out and try all the different characters. And yeah, I understand it was a beta and there's not really a meta and it's not really a competitive environment yet, but it felt pretty good every day to just kind of pick up a new character and see if he was for me or not. And I really did fall in love with a bunch of people that I never would have just seen on the first screen and just say, you know what, I'm going to play this character, so I'm really glad I gave him a try. Another big pro for the game are the dev videos. So once you enter into the beta, they have videos that they highly suggest you watch, and I highly suggest you watch because they're very informative. It's basically the devs of the game showing you how each character works, different combos you can achieve with them, and basically how they're supposed to be played. I mean, jumping into a game like this can be kind of intimidating at first just because it is so new and it is really different from any other FPS out there right now. I really enjoyed seeing the developers explain and break down how the game was supposed to be played, while also leaving enough room for us to go out in the field and actually test out new things and find new things. I feel like that's probably the best way to create a cohesive environment when it comes to people wanting to play the game. Another pro is zero gravity. Now, zero gravity is a section in the game where, you know, there's no gravity, you're jumping, you know, exactly what it sounds like, no gravity. And it allows for, you know, interesting interactions between certain characters, because there's some characters that can fly, some characters that can actually ground themselves to where they're not affected by zero gravity, and then there's characters like the Wraith where it's fun to, like, you know, stick a knife in someone, blow it up, and watch them ragdoll through space, but it does offer unique gameplay interactions. It can be a little hard to navigate through the zero gravity portions of some of the maps, but I think overall it does provide a really cool aspect to the game that we really haven't seen anywhere else. Another huge pro for me is the soundtrack. The soundtrack for this game is amazing, and it's basically just heavy, really bass heavy dubstep. And look, I'm not really into dubstep or techno or house, whatever you want to call it like that, but in a game like this, it's just action, action, action in your face, you know, shoot, 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 gun, 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 that type of stuff. It actually ties together with the game, so even if that's not what really catches your ear, it really provides a really smooth gameplay experience, at least in my book. Another thing that I really enjoyed during the beta were the game modes. Now, the 4 main game modes are Uplink, Overcharge, Turf War, and Blitzball. Now, some of them are more annoying and more tedious than the others, but my personal favorite is Turf War, which is basically domination. And one thing that I can say about the game modes in Lawbreakers is that while some of them can get repetitive, who you're playing against and how good they are really does tie into how the map affects you. Even though some of the game modes may seem repetitive and monotonous, I do like how the different objectives of said game modes kind of push you to steer towards certain characters. For example, if you're playing something like Blitzball and you need 1 ball to score and your team's depending on you and you have the ball, if you're playing somebody like Juggernaut, you throw on his shield, start up his sprint, he goes from being a robot to Adrian Peterson.
Battery acquired.
Adrian Peterson with a burst. Peterson Charles Tillman, the only one who can try to get him. He can't. Touchdown!
Or if you're playing something like Turf War and you're playing the Wraith and you're literally solo locking down a point and you're having to 1v4 people and that's actually a fight that's in your favor. A lot of these game modes provide those unique interactions that you want from a game, and I definitely enjoyed them. And I'm definitely looking forward to see what more we can get of that in the final product of the game. As far as replay value, I think it has tons. I enjoyed playing this game every minute of it. It was a rough time at first, just because it has a really steep learning curve, especially for me, coming from somebody who was playing majority Overwatch, because it's a lot faster than Overwatch, it's a lot more interactive than Overwatch, it's a lot more technical than Overwatch, but I really enjoyed this game, and I dare say I enjoyed it more than Overwatch, and it might even be better than Overwatch to me, but you didn't hear that from me. I could see myself playing this game for a while. Another big bonus for this game is it's rated M, and I know it might not really make a big difference to some people, but seeing the gore and the witty one-liners, you know, it really is something that lets you build some type of relationship with the characters, because you like it when a game is a little gritty. You like it when games are funny. It's that crude humor, like that Deadpool type humor, where you laugh because you laugh not necessarily at what they say, but you laugh just at the way they said it. And a lot of the characters do have unique kind of, you know, in your face kind of badass attitudes, and I mean, it really adds to that sense of grittiness in the game, because ultimately Lawbreakers is just a futuristic, super hyper violence version of Cops and Robbers, but we love it, and I love it, and I'm definitely excited to go play this game more once it releases. Another big pro when it comes to gameplay are the timed ultimates. So just like in a game like Overwatch, each character has their own special ultimate ability that they can use in battle. But unlike in Overwatch, your ultimate's charge is not dependent upon your kills or your damage or your contribution at all. It's a timed ultimate, and I like this because it keeps the game going, and you don't really have people relying on their ultimate. You can't have people cheesing their ultimate charge and just spamming it, and I like it in a game like that, because certain people, like the Juggernaut, the charge on his ultimate's only about 4 or 5 seconds, but that's because it plays into his character. That's his shield, that's how he gets in. But you have other people like the Enforcer, where it has a bit of a longer cooldown because they're homing missiles. And do you really want somebody running around in Lawbreakers with homing missiles every, 30 seconds? No, so I think it's a good way to keep the game balanced, but also keep the game moving without putting such a big importance on ultimates, because you can end up like Overwatch, where your ultimate could ultimately depend you see what I did there? It could ultimately depend on who's a better character just because of their ultimate, and you really don't want something like that, especially in a game like this where you want to explore and you want to see what every character brings to the table. Now, I can't say enough how much of a great time I had with the game, but unfortunately there are some cons, and for this to be a 100% review, we have to go ahead and cover them, so let's get into it. So one of the biggest problems I had with Lawbreakers were people character stacking. Now, hear me out. I understand it was a beta, and I understand there's people trying out tons of characters just to see who they like, but there's nothing fun about playing Uplink or Turf War against, 5 assassins, or 5 wraiths, or 5 juggernauts. I would personally like to see it drop down to 2 character limit. Maybe you can handle 2 assassins, maybe 2 wraiths. I feel like at 2, it's gonna have to almost force people to get creative and see and have more characters in the repertoire to say, oh, we already have 2 assassins, I can't even play in this match, I'm useless. I would like to see a 2 character limit. I feel like it would make the game more balanced and a little more fair, because nothing is more rage inducing than playing against 6 of the most OP characters in the game. Another con I had about the game was zero gravity. And yes, before you say anything, yes, I did put zero gravity as a pro as well. It's a con as well. The main reason I have zero gravity as a con is because it can really mess you up in places like Turf War, where it's basically domination, where you have to capture areas. And let's say if you're in the middle of the map and you're floating in the air because of zero gravity and you're trying to get to the ground to where the point is, not only does it make you a huge target, but that's time that you could have been capping the point that you were too busy floating in the air because your particular character you're playing doesn't really have any way to navigate around. There are characters like the Assassin who can tether places, the Juggernaut that can instantly ground himself to the ground, the Vanguard that has a jetpack. They can get around and kind of establish their position on the map better than other characters, but zero gravity does have a tendency to kind of give you some BS deaths and some BS situations where there was really nothing you could do. I don't feel like it's a bad game mechanic, I just feel like it's something that everyone's gonna have to really work towards to get good in, and really gonna have to get used to, because like I said, I don't think, at least I haven't played a game where zero gravity was that much of a factor when it came to gameplay. Another con, and none of the cons are huge, but this one is very minuscule to me at least, and it's lack of support classes. Now, the one support class they do have is the Battle Medic, but from the time I spent with her, and I know Deuce spent some time with her, she's very fun to play, and she does have some pretty good utilities, but I would like to see a more kind of in the field type of support class that can kind of heal, maybe like an AoE healer. And I don't know if that'll be broken in a game like this or not, but it would be nice to see some type of support class so we can actually start coming up with teams that have some sort of cohesive goal, instead of just, you know, let's get these 5 really cool guys together and see what we can do. The next con this next con might not even be a con, it might just be the fact that I can't aim. But I like to call it the 1 health bug. Like, overall, the whole time I was playing this game, I would get people to 1 health and I would pour shells upon shells into them and they would not die. I don't know if it's a bug. I'm pretty sure it's just because I can't fucking aim. But it really didn't catch my attention until I was, you know, hopefully I put a clip of it in the video right here. Buddy? Where the hell did he go? Oh. I swear to God. Oh my God, bro. I swear niggas don't die in this game. One of the more realistic cons I had with the game was there was no practice mode. Now, while I did appreciate how the devs put out those videos explaining how the characters worked, I wish they did have some type of practice range or practice mode where you can go in and actually put some of the stuff that they said to try into motion without having to be thrown into the fire of a game, because I already know when the game comes out, there's going to be other people who didn't get a chance to play the beta that are still going to be trying to learn, and you don't want to throw them just into quick play or, you know, or a custom game or anything like that where they're having to deal with the what's wrong with you scrub and all of that type of stuff, where they just want to learn the game. It would be nice to see a practice mode implemented where maybe it's just with bots, you know, maybe just, you know, 5 friends that are trying to learn the game against 5 bots. I think that would be great, and I think if they had that, it would actually encourage people to play more characters, almost be good with everyone, because this is kind of one of those games where you have to be good with everyone in order to serve some type of purpose, especially if they implement a character limit. The biggest problem I had with this game during the beta was the Discord bug, and hopefully somebody else out there, it's happened to your group or your group of friends, and I hope we can talk to Boss Key and get this straightened up, because this was the only thing that ruined my experience with Lawbreakers. So in the game, it actually does show who's in a Discord server, and me, Deuce, everyone here at Ether Gaming, and Bobby from Rap Game Crow Hogan all played the game together in a Discord server. But if you're in a Discord server, every now and then what it'll do is halfway through the match you'll realize that you'll be talking and none of your teammates can hear you. Now, at first it was only happening to me, and I thought maybe it's my headphones, maybe it's my Discord, maybe it's my internet, but over the next couple of days, I wasn't playing, it was just Deuce and Bobby, and they were experiencing the same problem. Chris was experiencing the same problem. I want to hear feedback from you guys. If anybody that played the Lawbreakers beta, did you guys experience that same problem? Because we did as well, and I really hope that that's a bug that can really get fixed, because that's so annoying, especially on games where you really need to be communicating with your team, and then you realize that they haven't heard anything you've said since the match has started. I don't know if it's a bug, a big bug or little bug or whatever, but I really hope it gets fixed, because that's really the only thing that kept me from giving this thing a perfect score on the grading scale. Now that the pros and cons are out the way, we can get into what we would like to see in the finished product of Lawbreakers. So let's get into it. Overall, Lawbreakers was an amazing beta, it was an amazing game, but for what we want to see in the finished product, I would like to see more game modes, because like I said, the ones that you do have are great, but they do get repetitive after a while. I would like to see more maps. I felt like through the whole beta, I only really played through about 2 or 3 maps at most. I would like to see the practice mode and the bots. I would like to see a kill cam implemented. I go through a lot of bullshit when I played this, and I really would like to see what happened, maybe even just to correct my own mistakes, but sometimes I just need to know. I would like if they implemented a kill cam. I think that would be dope. More skins is obviously something that I'm sure everyone would love. I love the skin options that they have already for the weapons and the heroes, but I would also like to see some more skins, maybe some more like, my favorite skin was probably from the Enforcer. He had a gun that was really just red chrome. That's amazing. If I could have more like that, that would be dope. But overall, just more skins in general. Another thing we would like to see is lobby balancing, and yeah, I understand that it's something that, you know, probably wouldn't be a thing in the beta because it's only a beta available for a short amount of time, but Deuce realized it more than anyone. We were like level, 14 and 15 playing with like level 1s and 2s, and I know that's really annoying because, you don't really want to throw people who just got the beta into that fire to expect them to be doing like a lot of stuff like that. We just want to play with people your same skill level. It's not a big deal, but it is something I'd like to see. Another thing on my wish list for the game would be a comp/rank mode. I think a game like this has tons and tons of competitive potential, and I think seeing competitive play of this game at high quality, high skill would be very entertaining, very visually, appealing, and it would have, it would even be able to implement a more mature broadcast in a game like Overwatch or, anything like that. But it would be great to start getting a competitive community together for this game because it definitely has everything behind it, and it definitely could get the push to make it a thing. I would like to see it happen. I hope it does happen. Bosky, I hope you're listening because we have a dope ass game. I would love to be a Lawbreakers commenter. I'm just saying, you can make me a broadcaster, dog. I will, bro. We're getting besides the point. Yo, Bosky, my people will call your people. But besides that, yo, great game. I love. Oh, hold on, one more thing. Bosky, please, just for me, please, can we get some emotes? Maybe I didn't see them. Maybe I'm not maybe I didn't have enough attention to detail. I would love emotes, especially in this M-rated game. I would love to see some emotes. I would love to see a lot of the personality in a lot of these characters come out. I would love to be, run through with Juggernaut and clack, impale someone, and then he does the robot on their corpse or something. I would love it. There's a lot of things I want to see in the game, but it's mainly because the game has so much potential, and I don't want to see a game like this go to waste. This game has amazing lasting playability potential. As long as it keeps receiving support from the devs and they keep listening to their players and they add more characters every now and then, because there are only 9 roles. If they add another role or maybe more characters to those roles that have some type of alternate play style, I think that could be a great way to keep this I think it'd be a great way to keep this thing rolling. I think we have a really great game on our hands, and I have to point this out. I'm going to give the Lawbreakers beta, on a score from 1 to 10, I have to give this a straight 9, because not only because it was a great game, not only because it was an amazing beta, and not only because the potential is there. The MSRP for this game upon release, which is August 8th, is $29.99 for the base game. Of course, you're gonna have your special editions and stuff where you get all that. But this game is a $30 game. What? This game is $30. For $30, I would suggest you go pick up this game. For $30, I'd suggest you pre-order it. This was an amazing game. This has the potential for Game of the Year. I know, Jason, it's only July. I get it. But this game, it was an amazing game. And for $30, you got me. Anyways, guys, that was our review of the Lawbreakers beta. If you guys enjoyed it and you want to see more reviews or you want to see more content from us in general, make sure you leave us a like, comment, and subscribe, and go check out our older videos. Make sure you go follow us on Twitter to keep up with what's going on in the channel, and also make sure you catch us on Twitch and follow us there for any future streams. Also, if you want to play with us on a stream or be featured on a stream or anything like that, make sure you go in the description box below and you join our Ether Army community Discord. Anyways, guys, I'm LouisVillain23. I'm about. I'll catch you guys later.